So I'm so excited to be here with Jay Townley, who is the general manager for Pest in Tallahassee, Florida. And the way I was actually connected to Jay and the co-owners, Kent and Blair, is through one of my high school girlfriends. I was actually visiting her and said, "Hey, would you mind introducing me to your husband? I'd love to run a workshop." And so over the years, we've worked consistently with Jay. We've also worked with customer service, Stephanie. We've worked with some sales folks, Jason and John, and we just so value your relationship. And I'd love, Jay, for you to share with our group over the last 6 years of coaching.
Sure.
What
Yeah.
have y'all got from it?
Yeah. So it's kind of funny that that's part of the introduction, but really we have always been open to kind of trying new things and looking at different directions. However, it was kind of funny because the first day that we ever met, I had no idea you were coming. I didn't know what to expect. All of a sudden I show up to the office and it's like, hey, we're having this workshop. We kind of got a room full of people and it's like, all right, here we go.
Yeah,
And so,
I remember that.
yeah. So it was one of these things where, you kind of scratch your head and like, okay, all right, so here we go. Well, at the time we were kind of entering a new market over in Jacksonville. We had a guy who was in kind of new construction sales for us. And then also our office manager we sell from the office also. We kind of got an inside sales force there, Stephanie. And so it looked like it would be an advantage to kind of put all of those people in coaching. And so what we've seen over time is due to different needs and really due to some staff changes, after probably the first 3-4 years, I've been the one that's remained kind of in the coaching loop until this point. So, what I would say that for me, it's always one of the biggest advantages of coaching is no different than any other type of kind of sounding board or idea board. You think you've got things that are a pretty good idea. You think you've got some things that'll work, and so it's always nice to have somewhere to bounce those ideas off. And then what's been an advantage to working with you guys has been, really having Southwest coming from the sales background. There's kind of a module for everything. It's like, oh, we were thinking about doing this, and it's like, oh, we got, I can send you that module. Or it's like, and then when it came to hiring, and we've seen the ebbs and flows of hiring good people and what the challenges are. And so it's been nice to have those resources as well as have you to talk to about kind of what my ideas were, what seemed to be working, what wasn't working. And, quite honestly, there's some things that we identified. We won't get into these specifics, but somebody that was in coaching that's not with the company anymore, but we kind of identified early on that, hey, it doesn't really look like they're putting the effort into the process. So that was one of the things that we could kind of lean on and saying, hey, this just isn't going to work. So I would say that's kind of the brief synopsis of the overall of kind of what we've seen in the last 6 years.
Absolutely. And you've also seen some significant growth results wise. Share with our team what those results are compared to industry averages.
Yeah. So industry average, I would say generally in the 6 to 8% growth range. Now, obviously that's all going to be dependent on the size of the company and kind of what they're doing and what efforts they're putting into growth. Obviously there's tons of way that you can grow that don't, sorry about the dog there.
Hey, we're all human.
Yeah, that don't make fantastic sense. But that's never been our philosophy. It's always been, hey, we want to grow. We want to be strong in growth, but at the same time, it's only going to be business that makes sense for us. We're not going to chase markets that we're not currently in. Not a ton of new services. We're not really getting out of our wheelhouse. We want to concentrate on that. Not chasing, no no door knocking, no real outside the box kind of guerrilla marketing, mass marketing, that sort of stuff that you would see a lot of companies involved in that were trying to get ramped up or wanted to see immediate growth. But being an established company, we wanted it to really be kind of organic growth from customers we had, cross-selling services, and then adding really to our residential base, because we primarily being located in one city, we got to see these people at the grocery store and all that. So we wanted them to feel good about the relationship we had and not feel like we had just twisted their arm to get them into a contract or something that way. With that being said, our growth goal has been probably in that 8%. We've stretched it to 9%, and really kind of looking at dollar increase as opposed to just a percentage. But we now, for the last at least 4 years, and probably going back to 5 years, have seen double-digit growth every year. And so the cool thing about that is, over the last 3 years, if we look at it from a percentage basis, the percentage obviously varies on a bigger number, but we are seeing the biggest dollar increase. In 2021, if we continue to go like we're trending, then again, will be the third or fourth year in a row when it's the largest dollar increase we've ever had. So
that is so awesome. And I love how we first started, where it was like, oh, I don't know if this is for me. And here we are 6 years later, right?
Sure.
But how you have just grabbed onto this and tried things that you're like, oh, haven't thought about that. But you grabbed it, you tried it. And really, two of my favorite stories with you all, working with you guys, I mean, there's a ton of them, but two of my favorites come from early on, right out of the gate, when we started working on referrals and getting your text to ask the Mrs. Jones and Mrs. Smiths, right? For those referrals, and how you've seen that grow, and implementing that and getting your text to see, hey, I'm not just here to provide a service. I'm part of the growth of this company. And to see where you guys were and where you are now with your text running contests and texting each other, hey, I'm beating you, here's how many I have. That's so cool to hear from our perspective. And then I use this story a lot when I'm talking about providing perspective on incentives and contests. And I remember, Jay, the first contest you all put together for your team, you said, hey, we're not getting a lot of results. We're not getting our techs to do this. And I said, well, what's the contest? What's the prize? And you said, the prize is a deep sea fishing trip with Kent and Blair and off for the day and all of this. And you said, nobody's participating. And do you remember the question I asked you?
Sure.
How many of your guys like to deep sea fish? And the answer was none, right? And so I love how you just were like, oh, and just having that outside perspective and reallocating that money to things that they loved and they were motivated by, how your referrals just have grown. So it's great to watch that.
Yeah, one of the biggest changes with that was we did kind of the traditional stuff. Like I said, the fishing trip was kind of the pinnacle, but we'd given away sunglasses and coolers, and again, it was primarily the people who were going to sell anyway were kind of, they were coming along with it. It's like, hey, I'm not really incentivized by the contest, but more they kind of saw where it could go. So one of the things that we discussed was the use of just cash, just, hey. And so for a long time, we were kind of getting that stuff rolling and getting it kicked off. We were actually doing we'd go and we'd get however many, it would all be in $1 bills rolled up and that sort of stuff. And so we were handing out these big rolls of cash. And so we had some fun with that. And really, hey, you got to stop. Hey, stop. Sorry about that.
That's okay. The dog likes the cat.
This is not even my dog. It's my daughter's. It's a dog that she's sitting. Some work's going on at the house, so she happens to be in my office. Anyway, sorry about that.
That's okay.
But so we're real because we got dogs in the office. So
exactly.
But anyway, so it's turned into a really just kind of a month after month of ongoing bigger and better. And last month I know we gave away the most contest money we've ever given away, but it was also on the basis of the fact that we had right at $48,000 in new sales that was generated by the technicians. And so, having come from a kind of the old model where you had 5 salesmen and nobody in the office um, talked about what we did. We wanted to get a salesman in front of them, and then kind of transitioning over time to essentially we have just about every one of our staff members now participates. And in the month that just finished yesterday, I want to say we had one of the inside salespeople that finished with 75, and then one that finished just over 60. So those are numbers that we haven't seen before too. So getting those technicians to realize, hey, there's some fun in the competition, there's some cash at the end, but ultimately I'm still going to get sales commission on it. I can build my route. I can add extra money to what I'm already doing just by participation. So that's been one of the biggest changes for us.
Yeah, I love that. And Jay, it has been my honor, and I am so grateful for y'all. And when I'm in Tallahassee next, and I will be, I'll come knocking on y'all's door, and we'll say hi and we'll stay in touch. But hearing the growth and just seeing how things have evolved and changed, and how you all have embraced Southwestern to be a part of the development of your true sales culture has been amazing. So we thank you so much for your investment, and we're so grateful for y'all.
Awesome.